So I think what's difficult about joining a beauty pageant is the small technical details, because you're going to be judged, obviously, that's how you win, based on what the judges think about you. And you have to be able to show yourself in a way that's original, authentic to who you are to those judges, while still impressing them in some sort of way. You have to make sure that your walk is on point, that your feet, point in the right direction, your legs are straight. There's all these tiny details you have to worry about. Sometimes it can be really stressful. You also have to prepare for different portions like question and answer. You have to be comfortable speaking. You have to be comfortable answering different questions, being prepared for whatever they might ask. And you also have to be prepared for the talent portion, showing that you're not just a pretty face. There's also other things you can do, other aspects to your personality.
Just because everyone has these such high expectations for you, whether it's your appearance, the way you speak, the way you interact with people, there's so many little aspects to pageantry that play a big part in someone's mental and emotional levels, I'd say. And so the grueling process in pageantry is probably how much you have to practice. So the walk on stage is not just a walk, it's literally months of walking, and also it's what you're wearing, how you're able to present what you're wearing and yourself. Like, there's so many little tiny details that pageantry requires. And not only that, when it comes to communication and Q&A, interview, you have to be really up to date with what is going on, and you have to take into account everyone's opinions, and you can't really be biased towards anything, because there will be people who will oppose of your opinion, and you have to take that into account. So those are very big aspects of the grueling process.
Hardship that I found within pageantry was the education within it, because you have to understand the struggles another nation is going through. I remember when there was a problem in the Philippines while a transgender woman was entering the washroom, a women's washroom in the Philippines, and then there was a lot of backlash with that, saying you're not a natural woman. That's something that you have to understand, that within Canada we uplift transgender or LGBTQ community, and you have to understand that it's different in different nations, but there's also a time when we can both grow together and share those ideas of, like, they deserve the most basic rights of just going to the washroom. They deserve the respect and love, and so having the education within that, and also preparing for the question and answer is the most grueling part, because it's like you have 30 seconds or a minute just to express everything you want. So it's like your mind races, but in that time it's just like, breathe. Let's go 1, 2, 3, let's have our points out. But it's also being genuine, being authentic, and that's what I found. When I was training the Miss Manila 2019 group, when I was emceeing and I was mentoring them, that's what I found within some of my girls. I told them, number 1, please be authentic, please be yourselves. So I asked them, like, basic questions. What's your favorite book? Or, like, what's your favorite subject at school? And just to see them, ooze out their own characteristics of, like, oh my gosh, I love this book because of this and that. Like, that's what I wanted to see on stage of, for example, where would you take a tourist in Toronto? And then when they say the authentic stuff, that's when the real them comes out. And that was really nice to see. And I know for sure I'd have to remember that information for when I go out to the Philippines. And I just know I have to be true to myself and just keep composure.
I definitely battled a lot of insecurities because, going into a pageant, there's a lot of things you worry about. How am I going to look? Your face, your body. I would say I don't have the best skin, so I worried a lot about how would my makeup look on stage. I was just worried a lot about, little things like pimples, because I was a really young teenager and acne is normal. And I was just so scared that was going to affect my appearance. I was also worried about things like my weight sometimes, because my dress at one point was really tight and I was scared. What if it doesn't zip up? Should I go on diet, or what do I do? So I really thought about those kinds of things, and obviously giving into those insecurities is really unhealthy. It's a good thing I had my mom there, who was always there to support me, make sure that I know no matter what, I am beautiful and I don't need to worry about these other things. I just have to make sure that I'm in the moment. I'm worried more about presenting myself as a whole, not just my body.
Everyone has insecurities. Honestly, it's something that is very neglected nowadays. Like, people always think of insecurities as a bad thing, but I feel like insecurities are something that you should be embracing rather than putting down. And that's what I thought about at my pageant, because I was like thinking, all of us are in the same position. All of us are looking at each other like, wow, she's beautiful. But I'm like thinking, she's probably thinking the same thing as me. Like, honestly, I just take the negative aspects and always put them into a positive way, because that's the best thing that you can do. And you can really tell on stage when you don't have that confidence. And like, yes, even if you do have those insecurities, embrace them, because everyone goes through that, and it's something that you shouldn't be ashamed of.
It was my first fashion show when I was 14, and some of the things didn't fit me, so I was just a little disheartened. And they're like, oh, what do they call me? Like, anak, you need to get skinnier. And I'm like, wow, I'm 14, I'm still a baby. So it was just those where I wanted to grow and be my most fit self, but also my most healthy mindset, because especially at 14, you can definitely bring yourself down when you think, oh my gosh, I'm too fat. Oh my gosh, I'm not beautiful enough. So it was just, it was a different process of where I'd be like, Lord, help me. Please get me through this day, or get me through the show, make sure I don't twist my ankles. So it definitely helped me with my faith and talking with my parents one-on-one.
Yes, I did struggle with some mental health issues, and I personally believe it's because of how many things were going, like how things were like running, especially at my international pageant. There was a time difference, and I'd be waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do my hair and makeup for 6 a.m. breakfast, and then I'd be coming home late at night at like 12 o'clock in the morning. Like, take that in, 4 hours of sleep. Like, that's ridiculous for a whole week. But that's part of the process. And I feel like that's a learning lesson, because in the future, it's going to be like that. Pageantry is difficult.
So on behalf of my boyfriend, I remember when I first told him I was joining the pageant, he was really excited for me. He was also very nervous because he knew that it's not going to be easy. There's a lot of things I have to put in. But throughout everything, the main thing is he was supportive. He always told me also, you know, you can do this. When I was stressed about, I don't think I'll be too confident on stage. What if I fall, if I trip on my dress? He was like, no, I know that you prepared well. You can do this. Don't worry. He was, I guess, a great stress reliever, because he would always build me up, make me feel confident. He was worried, though, about things like other guys, you know. It's kind of funny and cute being jealous.
So no, I do not have a boyfriend, but I'm not going to take that as a bad thing. I'm joking. But anyways, I feel like having all of this time and effort can just come to me, and I can just focus on myself, because I feel like that's the best thing that I can do before ever committing to another person. And I can just focus on my family and friends.
So with having a partner and being in the limelight, is in the spotlight, it can be hard if they don't support you in that way. And sadly, I've gone through that where they get very jealous, and it's not a good thing to feel, because it's like, this is my one love. Like, I love pageantry, I love modeling, but also like, I love this person. But then when you see them in that way of getting mad at you for a passion that you have, it also questions like, wait, do I love the person? Or wait, do I really love pageantry? And that's just something that you can't deal with. You can't deal with that mental conflict. So with something like that, you just have to remain true to yourself before you had them. So thankfully, I have a sweet boyfriend. He motivates me to continue with my schoolwork, and he knows that, okay, after when you go do your pageants, you have to keep school, like you have to go to the next term. And it's also a motivating thing to have like your number one cheerleader like that, and to continue on to support you, be like, oh my gosh, look at my girl, look at this and that. It's just really nice to see that you have someone supporting you, and they trust you with those things, and that you trust them, that like this is something that I want to do for myself, and that they will be along on the sidelines but supporting you no matter what.